Hello and welcome to Arcade Classics Revamped. In this first installment, I'm taking a look at Donkey Kong, released by Nintendo in 1981. Donkey Kong came about as the result of a rather unsuccessful game for the Nintendo released in 1980 called Radar Scope. Radar Scope was not a success for Nintendo commercially, so they decided to basically reuse the same cabinets and hire a new artist to design basically a new game. So in 1981, a new artist that just joined Nintendo called Shigeru Miyamoto designed these new characters, Jumpman and his pet ape, Donkey Kong. The name Donkey Kong originated just from Shigeru Miyamoto looking up English words in the dictionary and deciding that donkey meant silly or goofy and Kong was like ape, so it was directly a reference to King Kong. As a result, Universal Studios attempted to sue Nintendo for the Donkey Kong name, claiming that they were infringing on Universal's right for the character. However, it was later determined that Universal didn't actually own the copyrights to the name Donkey Kong themselves, so Nintendo really had really done nothing wrong. Donkey Kong is probably one of the most famous games of all time because even if people haven't played Donkey Kong, they at least know the character Donkey Kong. What makes the game rather interesting and historically significant is that Donkey Kong is the first instance where you have Mario, although back then Mario wasn't actually called Mario, it was just called Jumpman. The reason he is the way he is, the reason he wears overalls and is red and blue is because, well, it's simply easier to animate, moving colors that are, opposites. So they decided originally that to create a character out of technical limitations. So Donkey Kong has several floors. It has, the famous first floor that you see in basically every version of Donkey Kong. It also has this fourth and final floor, and it has two other ones. The original arcade version, the American arcade version, alternates between these floors all the time. But console versions would always be running in a pattern where they'd put maybe the first stage, the second stage, third stage, and then fourth stage, or some of them would omit some of the stages and just be like your first stage, second stage, third stage, first stage, second stage, third stage. There would be no fourth. Or, whatever, some variation of that. The game was so popular, in fact, that Donkey Kong was quickly ported to just about everything that could run the game. It was done on, the ColecoVision, the Commodore 64, the NES, the Famicom, the Atari 2600, the Atari 5200. This was on everything that could be possibly out as a home console back then. In the early days, Nintendo, before they even had the Famicom, Nintendo was a third-party developer for a lot of these companies, so, they'd have games that would license to Atari. Which is, pretty crazy to think about nowadays, but hey, it happened. What kind of makes the arcade version of the game kind of infuriating to play is it's got a random element where sometimes the barrels will fall down the ladders and sometimes, they'll just come right at you. It's impossible to predict this, it's just a random element. Despite this, there are people that are so good at Donkey Kong that they can, compete basically in a competitive sport at the game. And, I simply find those people amazing. If you guys haven't, you should definitely check out the documentary series called The King of Kong, which is all about basically the best Donkey Kong players in the world. People who are so obsessed with Donkey Kong that they actually own Donkey Kong cabinets. And, they play the game ritually to, just get better and better to get to the high score. It's just insane to me because this is a game where, I'd be lucky if I can get through the stage, any one stage without dying and losing all my lives, let alone, never dying and getting, like, the maximum score possible. So if you're wondering, the woman that Mario is saving here, or Jumpman is saving here, is not actually Princess Peach or Toadstool or even Daisy. It's his first girlfriend, Pauline, who is like basically just an obscure Donkey Kong character these days. I just died, but anyway, there's another stage. Well, anyway, guys, thanks for watching this first episode, and be sure to stay tuned for more, because I'm going to be pumping out these on a semi-regular basis. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching, and take care.